Hello, my name is Lime, and this is a tutorial Dungeon 6 Backdoor. This trick saves close to about 3 minutes in any percent. I actually think it probably saves a bit more in No Hinox Warp, because I'm pretty sure it's faster to skip Mamba in No Hinox Warp now. So this method should hopefully be easy, but a lot of this trick is banging your head against the wall and experimenting and trial and error and trying to get it down. For that reason, I definitely don't really recommend it to beginners looking to learn the run. But once you want to start competing for top times and stuff, it's definitely going to be very useful. Anyway, here we go. So first we start with our air jump air climb, and then so that's the next part of the trick. It's actually pretty difficult, but once you're at like the very, very top of the ladder, I actually use muscle memory for this. Some people have developed visual cues, but I find that the most consistent way to do it, don't have to worry about the camera, it's fast, is just brute force getting used to going up the ladder and jumping at the specific time you want. A little bit of a visual cue I do have, though, is focusing on Link's left hand there. I'll edit this so that you can kind of see Link's hand, his left hand has a certain pattern of ascending, then descending, ascending, then descending, because he alternates hands to use for the climb. Let me go over what just happened there. I'm going to replay that clip as I'm talking. After you get that jump, so jumping off of the ladder, you want to do an upright to downright movement. So it's sort of a half circle almost, or I guess a 1/3 circle, as you're moving from upright, sliding to downright, so that you land on the invisible wall, and then immediately get a jump down right onto the next part of the invisible wall, and then you want to flick up and slash, so that you're sliding up and not to the down right. And then you want to sort of hold up and wiggle a little bit left or a little bit right in order to adjust your position, just in case you end up failing. And then you start holding R while you're doing the slide, and Link will end up facing up in this little position. And now sometimes, let me try and show. So like sometimes Link will be over here, or even over here. And these positions I find are a bit risky. Sometimes he might even be even more right. But the key thing with this trick is adjusting visually based on what result you get, because there's a ton of variation in this trick, and you really don't want to deal with that. So the key thing here to note is I'm really close to this white part of the wall. You want to be solely on the brown part of the wall. If you're in the white part of the wall, when you start dashing down, Link is going to void out, and you're going to be sent back to the ladder, and you're going to have to do the ladder jump again, and nobody wants to do that. So if I find that I'm right like this, and I'm not too certain about my position, I'm just going to nudge Link just a little bit to the left here. And so now you can see that my shoes are not even touching that white part of the wall to my right. So now at this point, we're going to venture down. And in order to do it as quickly as possible, we're going to be dashing. And basically the way Link moves on these walls is in sort of segments. So he'll be sort of like ascending vertically, and then once he reaches that peak, he'll fall down again, and he'll be pushed like a unit forward. So I count for 10 units here. So you're gonna dash down for 10 units. Sometimes you kind of want to adjust. Some people like 9, some people like 11 probably. I think Owen sometimes did 8. It really depends on this next part, how comfortable you are with the motion of sliding from down right to right, and how much of it you want it to be down right and how much of it you want it to be right. So obviously I hold down right, when doing that down right to right, I hold down right not as long as Owen does. So that's why I adjust by going a little bit more down. And so that's what I mean by the trial and error. You're going to have to figure it out yourself. But now let me show this in action. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And you'll notice that I didn't slash immediately on 10. If Link is at the lowest point of his sort of vertical ascension, then when you jump, you're not going to get any movement at all. Like you'll jump and you'll try to hold a direction, and Link will just jump in place and then void out. And now comes the next part of the trick. And a lot of this trick, basically all of this trick, is based on our ability to do these air jumps. And so we cancel our shielding by pressing B to swing our sword, and then out of the sword animation, we're going to jump. And with that jump, what I like to do is I hold immediately down right, and then I slide to right. And I might mess it up here, and if I do, we'll talk about why I failed, and then I'll cut to a time where I actually got it. So let's see. So shield, press B, jump, slide from down right to right, and I also like to throw in a sword slash, just because that helps Link turn a little bit faster. Okay, so you see I failed there. I think that's actually one of the fails that's a bit more ambiguous for me. So I think the reason I voided out there is because I was too far down. I held too much down right. If you find that you're getting that result a lot, you might want to try 9 dashes instead of 10. Additionally, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Additionally, if you find you're falling in the water a lot, you also might want to switch to 9 instead of 10, or maybe even 8. So yeah, you can see there that I'm holding down right for too long, so I'm getting these weird motions. Okay, so that's also a failure. I think that's if you hold right before down right. Then you just land inside the wall like that. And we don't want to land inside the wall, because there's no way that we know of to get into the D6 backdoor from inside the walls. You have to be on top of the walls, because that gives you enough height to jump over the invisible wall that guards the D6 backdoor. Okay, so there's a successful attempt. As you can see, I slashed, jumped, down right to right, and I also slashed in there. So now you're going to be in this position. More likely you're going to be something like this. And next up is what I think is probably the most precise jump in the trick. This is the dreaded third jump. So the way I like to do it, and I think the way Owen does it as well, is you slash, you jump, and you let Link jump neutrally for a bit, not holding any direction. And then, after a bit of that neutral jump, you hold down, and then you go to down right. So, and then you should hopefully land on the wall, and then you slash upwards, and do like an up left to up motion to get a quick slide, and then start shielding again. So let's see if I can get it here. So okay. What happened there is I was afraid that I went too far right, and actually I like to practice this one on land. So you can see I went too far right there. That one would likely work. That one is not right enough. That one is probably too far right. But yeah, you can see how it's kind of precise. That one would probably work, but it would be a little bit tight. That one's too far right. But yeah, you can see it's pretty tough. But you want to prioritize making sure that you're doing a down to down right motion. Like that, instead of a like down right to right motion. And you want to make sure you're jumping neutrally for a bit as well. because otherwise you're gonna have a bad time. Okay, attempt number 3. Okay, so that time it worked. And so I just did that down to down right-ish kind of movement from a neutral jump. And then once you start wall sliding, you can kind of play around and go left to get a faster slide, or if you're scared, just let it carry you upwards. But you do actually want to be a bit left, or else you're gonna fall. And now time for the next part of the trick. This part used to be the most annoying for me. It's another counting dash section, and it used to be counting 11, 12, I think, or 12 or 13 times was Owen's method. I switched to 14, which kind of worked for me, but now I decided it's actually pretty much 100% consistent. If you count 18 dashes to the point where the screen visually changes to be that sort of more orange color, and then you just jump directly right. You're always going to get the jump, and it should be a bit easier. And it just made this section so much more consistent for me, because this section was really annoying. I didn't know why I was failing sometimes. But an important part of it is on the wall slide, after the jump, you have to go up a tiny, tiny bit to the point where Link is sort of against that white part of the wall. Like, his feet are hitting, like, the top part of the white part. Alright, so let me start counting. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Okay, so I do actually have to go one more. 19. Sometimes it is like that. I think I accidentally counted one too many. So now we're on this first sort of more orange part of the wall. And so all we're going to do is slash, release R. I forgot to mention that earlier. Every time you do these, you have to release R once you slash. So slash, release R, and then jump to the right. And it should just work. And then I like to keep the stick neutral, and then just like slightly tap up right. And then Link should get a good glide into the position that he wants. And it should be the easiest part of the trick, hopefully. If it's not, then I failed as a consistency finder. that segment is actually why I made this tutorial, because it's just made the trick so much more consistent for me. So now we reach the ending section of the trick, and this part is deceptively difficult. It's the longest wall slide in the game that we have, as far as I know. There might be some place where you can do a longer one, but we're going to wall slide all the way to the bottom part of the rafting game, and then Link is going to find a little portion where he can stick his shield out, and then we're going to dash up, find a visual reference, and then jump to the right. Now, if you don't have much experience with wall slides, I would definitely recommend practicing somewhere where it's easier to get to a wall sliding area. Wall slides used to be like a quintessential part of Link's Awakening speedruns, but they actually went away for a while, and we kind of replaced them with like bomb loons and stuff. Just faster strats. Like in D6 we used to have a pretty long wall slide, but now that's gone in place of a bomb loon. So what I do for the bomb slide here, or sorry, for the wall slide here, is, of course, first we slash, release R, and then jump down. And so then I'll be in the wall sliding animation. I hold down the whole time. Just holding down the whole time. And so the way it works is when you go sort of toward the edge of the wall, Link gains more speed, and when you go toward the inner part of the wall, Link loses speed. And so I like to go a little bit in first, so that I have more room to work with, and then, so I'm holding down, I flick just a little bit to the down left, not too much, because if you flick too much down left, you're gonna clip inside the wall, and you're gonna fall down, and you're gonna be heartbroken, you're gonna be so upset. So you flick just a little bit down left, and then back down, you slide back to the down position, and then you're going to go from down just a little bit to down right, and then immediately back to down. You don't want to hold down right too long, or you're going to fall in the water, and you're going to have a bad time. So let's start on the next part of this trick. Hopefully I can do it. Slash, jump down, flick down left just a little bit, and then just flick down right just a little bit. Let's see. So you want to observe a little bit. So, okay, I'm going a little bit too far right, so I'm just going to adjust Link's position here. That should be perfect. And when it's perfect, I actually like to let go of the control stick. I was too far left. Okay. That was a mistake that I did want to talk about at some point, so I'm glad I did it. But yeah, if you're if you're too far left, and it can be a little bit too hard, it can be a little bit hard to tell when you're too far left, but if you're too far left, you're just gonna miss the point where Link can stand and hold his shield. So you're gonna have a bad time. Like I just did right there. And again, during the wall slide, you're gonna hold R the whole time so that you are hitting the wall immediately, like the standing part of the wall immediately. Alright, so I'll meet back with you guys once I get back up to the wall sliding part again. Okay, so here we are again. Hopefully I can get a cleaner slide this time. So that down left movement, and then slide down right. Hopefully this is good. Okay, that actually does look perfect. So we are just a little bit more right this time. Boom. So holding R that whole slide should land you here. We actually are a little bit more left than I would like to be, but I tend to side on not over adjusting. Like if it fails, whatever. Just like, you know, if it seems a little bit too close, just let it be, which is why I obviously failed that first time. So now that we're doing this, you might be like, what the heck is next? Are we gonna be doing this bobbing up and down thing? No, Link can actually move normally on this part of the wall for some reason, which is basically entirely why this trick even works. Just for some reason, Link can dash normally here. So we're just gonna dash upwards like this. Cancel it with a slash. Oh shit, I fucked up. We might still be able to recover this, actually. Okay, we did. Go a little bit right here. So if you think you're left, go a little bit right, or else that's gonna happen. Right, dash, cancel with a slash. You have to cancel with a slash. If you cancel with flicking down, you're gonna get destroyed. You're gonna have a bad time. So you kind of want Link to be in between the bombs and the arrows. Also, don't try to go back. You can't go back. You can only go up. If you flick down, you're gonna have a bad time. So now, don't think you can just jump normally. Because Link can move normally, it does not mean he can jump normally. We still have to slash, release, shield, and jump. We still have to do the shield cancel jump. So here we are. I think this position is good. It's gonna kind of take your own visual reference. It's actually not too tight, but I do find that seeing Link in between these two areas is good. A little bit past the shadow of that leaf. This might actually be a little bit too high, but let's see. Yeah, that's a little bit high, so Link is gonna sort of float his way in. We just have to do that. And actually, now we're on the chest, and all I have to do is this to get the bombs and arrows, which is probably the fastest way to, the fastest route in any percent is only buying one set of bombs and then landing on the chest and just grabbing both of the pickups there. What else do I want to discuss with this trick? I think that's about everything. I failed in all the ways that I wanted to fail, which is good. But yeah, hopefully this tutorial helped you. If it didn't, feel free to ask me any questions you have. I really want this to help people, and I'm very sorry that I wasn't able to get my input display working. I know it's pretty inconvenient to not have an input display for this trick, considering how much of it is based on precise stick movements. But hopefully this technique, the way I handle every individual little piece of the trick, should help you. But yeah, again, if you have any questions, if you're just watching this on YouTube for some reason, and you just randomly found it, feel free to ask me in the comments, I guess. But if you're in the Discord, which you most likely are, if you're not, I'll put a link to it in the description. Feel free to hit me up. You know, throw me a ping. I don't really care about pings. Throw me a ping. Ask me about what might be going wrong. And yeah, I would love to help. But yeah, this trick saves a ton of time, and I want to help people start to go for it. But yeah, I'll see you all later. Thanks for watching.